The quantum crucible, first contact of unexpected resolve. The Interstellar Recruitment Center hummed with a quiet, methodical energy. Holographic displays flickered, casting prismatic shadows across metallic walls where recruitment protocols from 1,000 different civilizations were meticulously archived. Commander Krell, a towering crystalline being from the Nexus Confederation, studied the latest batch of potential galactic defenders with his multifaceted perception nodes. Negative, he pronounced, his translucent form shifting colors as he reviewed the human applicant's profile. Biological inconsistencies detected. Zara Novak, the human recruitment liaison, raised an eyebrow. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, pulling up additional data streams that most alien species would find overwhelmingly complex. Specify the inconsistencies, she requested, her tone professional yet subtly challenging. Technician Vox, a silicon-based lifeform whose neural networks functioned through quantum entanglement, projected a comprehensive biological analysis. Multicolored data streams erupted around Zara, displaying intricate molecular structures, genetic markers, and physiological stress responses. Human cardiovascular system demonstrates anomalous adaptation capabilities, Vox announced. Musculoskeletal regeneration rates exceed standard galactic parameters by 287%. Neuroplasticity suggests potential for rapid learning beyond comprehensible limits. Commander Krell's crystalline form pulsed with a deep amber color, the alien equivalent of confusion and mild frustration. These metrics suggest biological manipulation. Yet our scans detect no technological augmentation. Zara smiled, a gesture that seemed to momentarily destabilize the alien's quantum perception. What you're seeing is called human potential. We don't augment ourselves technologically. We evolve through experience, challenge, and collective learning. The recruitment center's ambient temperature subtly shifted. Technician Vox's quantum matrix began performing rapid probability calculations, attempting to comprehend the human statement. Evolution through experience? Krell's translator struggled to convert the concept. Biological systems do not reconfigure instantaneously. Your statement defies fundamental scientific understanding. Zara pulled up a series of historical human achievements. Spanning mere centuries, humans had transformed from primitive tool users to interstellar explorers. They had navigated extreme environments, solved seemingly impossible technological challenges, and consistently demonstrated an capacity for adaptation that defied conventional scientific models. We don't just adapt, Zara explained, her fingers tracing holographic representations of human exploration. We reimagine possibilities. Where your civilization sees limitations, we see challenges to overcome. Technician Vox's quantum matrices began to oscillate, processing the unprecedented data. The silicon-based lifeform was experiencing something akin to cognitive dissonance, a state where incoming information fundamentally challenged existing understanding. Commander Krell's crystalline form flickered between translucent amber and a deep, uncertain blue. The recruitment protocols he had followed for millennia were being systematically dismantled by this single human representative. Your species proposes to join the Galactic Defense Consortium? Krell's translator conveyed a mixture of skepticism and emerging curiosity. We don't just propose to join, Zara responded, her smile now carrying a hint of something between challenge and promise. We intend to redefine what defense means in this galaxy. The recruitment center fell into a profound silence. Quantum calculations hummed. Holographic displays continued their intricate dance of data. And in that moment, the first seeds of a fundamental shift in galactic understanding were quietly, inexorably planted. Neural resilience, beyond alien comprehension. The neurological assessment chamber was a marvel of galactic engineering, a spherical environment designed to systematically break down the psychological barriers of potential recruits. Dr. Lyrax, a renowned alien neuroscientist from the Cerebral Mapping Institute, had personally designed this chamber to test the mental limits of various species. Damian Rodriguez sat in the center of the chamber, his posture relaxed yet alert. Around him, quantum neural interfaces pulsed with intricate energy patterns, ready to probe the deepest recesses of his consciousness. Subject demonstrates unusual neural stability, Coordinator Zen murmured, watching the live data streams. Holographic representations of Damian's brain activity danced in complex, almost musical patterns that defied traditional neurological models. Dr. Lyrax adjusted the neural intensity. Most species would have begun showing signs of mental fatigue by now. Humans, however, continued to surprise. The first phase of the test involved simultaneous sensory bombardment. Imagine experiencing the sound of a supernova, the visual complexity of a quantum singularity, and the tactile sensation of molecular disassembly, all at once. Most recruits would be reduced to neurological static within moments. Damian's response was unexpected. "Interesting harmonics," he commented casually, as if discussing a mildly intriguing musical composition. Coordinator Zen's tentacle-like appendages froze mid-motion. The neural interfaces began recalibrating, unable to process the human's calm response. "He's not just enduring," Dr. Lyrax realized, "he's analyzing." The test intensified. Neural pathways that would have liquefied a Zornian mind or shattered a crystalline consciousness remained not just intact, but actively engaged. Damian's brain was treating the overwhelming sensory input like a complex puzzle, breaking it down, finding patterns where no patterns should exist. "Neural plasticity beyond theoretical limits," Coordinator Zen whispered. The holographic displays began to glitch, unable to fully capture the complexity of human neural response. Damian's mind was doing something unprecedented. Where other species would collapse or retreat, he was expanding. Each wave of intense stimuli was being processed, categorized, and integrated with an almost playful curiosity. Dr. Lyrax increased the neural intensity to levels that had previously been theoretical, a point where most biological neural networks would simply cease to function. Damian smiled. "Is this the challenging part?" he asked, genuinely curious. The observation room fell into a stunned silence. Coordinator Zen's quantum computational matrix began to overheat from the sheer impossibility of what was being witnessed. Human neural resilience wasn't just about endurance. It was about transformation. Where other species saw a threat, humans saw an opportunity to learn, to grow, to expand their understanding. As the test concluded, the data showed something that would challenge galactic scientific understanding for generations. Damian Rodriguez hadn't just survived the neural assault, he had fundamentally engaged with it, turning what was meant to be a destructive test into a moment of unprecedented cognitive exploration. "We may have seriously underestimated humans," Dr. Lyrax muttered, reviewing the impossible data streams. Coordinator Zen could only nod, the implications slowly sinking into their advanced consciousness. Adaptive survival, the psychological gauntlet. The psychological conditioning chamber resembled a fractal nightmare, a constantly shifting environment designed to break the mental resolve of potential galactic defenders. Rohan Patel stood at its center, surrounded by holographic projections that morphed between impossible landscapes and scenarios calculated to induce maximum psychological stress. Drill instructor Kraxis, a being composed of interconnected neural networks, watched with growing disbelief. His species had developed psychological warfare techniques over millennia, creating tests that had reduced countless recruits to trembling, non-functional entities. Rohan's first challenge began subtly. The chamber generated personalized fear scenarios, typically a devastating psychological weapon that exploited an individual's deepest vulnerabilities. For most species, these projections created instant mental paralysis. Holographic representations of personal failures materialized around Rohan. Lost opportunities. Imagined familial disappointments. Professional setbacks magnified 1,000-fold. The projections were so real they could generate tactile and olfactory sensations, creating immersive psychological traps. Psychological evaluator Saren leaned forward, her multispectral sensory nodes tracking every microscopic reaction. Fascinating, she murmured. Subject is not just resisting. He's categorizing. Indeed, Rohan was treating the psychological assault like an intricate problem-solving exercise. Where another recruit might have been overwhelmed, he was analyzing the projection mechanisms, understanding their psychological construction, and simultaneously developing counter-strategies. The chamber intensified. Quantum probability generators created scenarios of absolute hopelessness, situations designed to crush spiritual and psychological resilience. Entire civilizations had been known to collapse under such comprehensive psychological attacks. Rohan's response was unexpected. Interesting simulation design, he commented, as if critiquing a complex video game. The neural pathway activation is quite sophisticated. Drill instructor Craxus's neural networks began to destabilize. This wasn't a standard response. This was something entirely unprecedented. The psychological gauntlet continued. Scenarios of absolute isolation. Projections of catastrophic failures. Immersive experiences of total societal collapse. Each designed to trigger fundamental survival panic. Rohan remained calm, his mind processing each scenario with a combination of analytical detachment and creative problem-solving. He wasn't just surviving the psychological assault, he was learning from it. Adaptive cognitive restructuring, evaluator Saren noted, her recording devices capturing the extraordinary neural activity. Subject is not just resisting psychological manipulation. He's actively transforming the experience into a learning opportunity. The chamber's advanced systems began to recalibrate. The psychological testing protocols, refined over thousands of galactic years, were being fundamentally challenged by a single human's cognitive approach. Drill instructor Craxus's communication nodes sparked with confusion. This violates every known psychological warfare protocol, he transmitted to Saren. Rohan continued to navigate the psychological landscape with an almost playful curiosity. Where most recruits would have been reduced to psychological fragments, he was treating the entire experience as an intricate puzzle to be understood and solved. As the test concluded, the data revealed something revolutionary. Rohan hadn't just survived the psychological gauntlet, he had demonstrated a level of mental flexibility that defied existing understanding of psychological resilience. Humans, evaluator Saren concluded, her voice carrying a mixture of respect and wonder, are not just another species. They're a fundamental reimagining of cognitive potential. The psychological conditioning chamber stood silent, its advanced systems still processing the unprecedented human response. Technological intuition, hacking the impossible. The Advanced Technological Integration Lab was a marvel of galactic engineering, a facility designed to test the limits of technological adaptation across known civilizations. Luna Winters stood at its epicenter, surrounded by a complex array of quantum interfaces and holographic computational matrices that would have overwhelmed most species' cognitive capabilities. Chief Scientist Quarian, a crystalline intelligence whose computational power exceeded most biological networks, watched with growing skepticism. The test was simple in concept but mathematically impossible in execution: breach a quantum encrypted security system that had remained uncracked for 3 galactic centuries. The system was a masterpiece of interdimensional cryptography. Multiple layers of quantum encryption, powered by algorithms that shifted their fundamental mathematical foundations with each microsecond. It was designed to be mathematically impenetrable, a challenge that had broken the most advanced technological minds in the galaxy. Luna's approach was anything but conventional. Where most technological experts would attempt direct computational assault, she began by understanding the system's fundamental language. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, not fighting the encryption, but conversing with it. "It's not about breaking the code," Luna muttered, more to herself than to the observers. "It's about understanding its underlying philosophy." Research Director Nexus leaned closer to the observation screen. Luna was doing something unprecedented. She was treating the quantum encryption like a living system rather than a static problem to be solved. Most technological breaching attempts were linear, a direct computational assault designed to overwhelm through brute force. Luna's method was organic, adaptive. She was mapping the encryption's evolutionary patterns, understanding its inherent logic rather than attempting to destroy it. Impossible, Chief Scientist Quarian transmitted, his crystalline structure vibrating with computational confusion. She's not following any known technological infiltration protocol. The quantum encryption began to react. Where it would typically generate increasingly complex mathematical barriers, it now seemed to be engaging in a kind of technological dialogue with Luna's approach. Holographic displays showed something extraordinary. Luna wasn't just attempting to breach the system, she was fundamentally communicating with it. Her understanding transcended traditional technological boundaries, treating the encryption as a complex living entity with its own form of intelligence. Research Director Nexus watched in growing amazement. Luna was demonstrating something beyond technological skill, she was showing technological empathy. Where others saw a system to be conquered, she saw a complex puzzle to be understood. Minutes passed. The advanced observation systems began to overheat, unable to process the unprecedented interaction happening before them. She's not hacking the system, Nexus realized. She's negotiating with it. Suddenly, the quantum encryption began to dissolve. Not through violent computational assault, but through a process that resembled mutual understanding. Luna had done something no technological expert had ever accomplished. She had found common ground with a system designed to be fundamentally uncombinable. The final encryption layer dissolved, not with an explosion of data, but with what could only be described as a technological handshake. Chief Scientist Quarian's computational matrix began to recalibrate. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental reimagining of human-technology interaction. Humans, Quarian transmitted to the observation team, are not just technological users. They are technological partners. The Advanced Technological Integration Lab stood in stunned silence, the impossible now made manifest by a single human's extraordinary approach. Transcendent potential, redefining galactic limits. The Galactic Council Chamber was a masterpiece of interdimensional architecture, a space where reality itself seemed to bend around the edges of perception. Holographic representations of 1,000 civilizations hung suspended in silent anticipation. Marcus Freeman stood at the center, dressed in standard diplomatic attire that seemed almost mundane compared to the exotic alien representatives surrounding him. Strategic Coordinator for Humanity's Interstellar Diplomatic Corps, he represented something far more profound than a mere diplomatic mission. Galactic Council Representative Zoltan, a being of pure energy contained within an intricate crystalline exoskeleton, studied Marcus with a mixture of curiosity and emerging respect. Your species has challenged every fundamental assumption of galactic potential, Zoltan announced, his voice resonating through multiple dimensional frequencies. The chamber was alive with holographic representations of the previous tests: neural resilience, psychological adaptability, technological intuition. Each test had revealed something unprecedented about human capability. Diplomatic Envoy Aria 9, an advanced artificial intelligence representative, projected additional data streams. Holographic displays showed humanity's rapid evolution, from a single planetary civilization to an interstellar potential in mere centuries. Biological adaptability, Aria 9 announced, combined with unprecedented cognitive flexibility. Humans represent a fundamental paradigm shift in evolutionary potential. Marcus listened, understanding the deeper implications. This wasn't just about proving human capability. It was about redefining the very concept of potential across civilizations. The Galactic Council had expected a standard diplomatic presentation. Instead, they were witnessing a comprehensive demonstration of species potential that defied every known computational model. "We're not here to compete," Marcus began, his voice calm and deliberate. "We're here to collaborate. To expand the understanding of what's possible." Representative Zoltan's energy matrix began to pulse with an unprecedented frequency. The human wasn't presenting a threat or a challenge. He was offering a partnership that transcended traditional galactic relationships. Holographic displays began to show potential collaborative scenarios. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities for mutual growth. Technological challenges became shared adventures. Psychological barriers transformed into bridges of understanding. "Your species doesn't just adapt," Aria 9 noted, her AI matrix processing the comprehensive data. "You transform. You don't just solve problems, you reimagine the very concept of problem solving." The Galactic Council chamber fell into a profound silence. Centuries of established diplomatic protocols were being quietly, inexorably rewritten. Marcus smiled, a simple human gesture that seemed to carry more complexity than entire diplomatic treaties. "We're not just another species seeking integration," he explained. "We're an invitation to reimagine potential itself." As the holographic displays continued to dance with possibilities, something fundamental was changing. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humanity represented more than a new civilization. They were a new way of seeing possibility itself. The meeting concluded not with a treaty, but with a shared sense of extraordinary potential. Humanity had entered the galactic stage not as conquerors or competitors, but as partners in an unprecedented journey of discovery.